Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Lucky Tremendous, and welcome back to episode 2 of Lucky Talks Motion Pictures. Last episode, we talked about our very first film on this channel, and today we continue with episode 2. Last time, we talked about Fight Club, starring Brad Pitt and Edward Norton, directed by David Fincher. Today, I decided to keep the ball rolling a little bit. We're going to talk about another film directed by Fincher, and like Fight Club, another near masterpiece of his. We're going to talk about a film from 2007 that had many people clamoring to the theaters to go and see it. Yes, my friends, I'm talking about the 2007 film Zodiac, starring Robert Downey Jr. and Mark Ruffalo. Something that's not Marvel Cinematic Universe related that stars the two of them. It is quite comical to think, not going to lie. The film is about the storytelling of the hunt for the Zodiac killer. Now, many people like to joke about this famous person was the killer, this famous person was the killer, but really, cases like these are no laughing matter. These people really did die, and their murders have gone unsolved for decades, and it's most likely possible that these murders will never be solved. But I do have to admire how serious David Fincher took the story of the Zodiac Killer and made it one of the best films of the 2000s. So I'll take it upon myself today, my friends, to talk about it for you, as well as talk about it about you with you guys. Without further ado, my friends, let's get started. On the 4th of July in 1969, actually shortly before my father's 6th birthday, weirdly enough, an unknown man attacks a lovely couple with a handgun at Lover's Lane in Vallejo, California. One of them manages to survive. A month later, the San Francisco Chronicle receives encrypted letters written by the killer calling himself the Zodiac Killer. He threatens to kill a dozen people unless his coded message containing his identity is published. Political cartoonist Robert Graysmith correctly guesses that his identity is not in the message and is not to be taken seriously by crime reporter Paul Avery or the editors and is excluded from the initial details about the killings. When the newspaper publishes the letters, however, a married couple deciphers one of them. In September, the killer stabs law student Brian Harnell and Cecilia Shepard at Lake Berryessa in Napa County. Shepard dies 2 days later. It's actually really amazing because mostly stories like this have a lot of dramatic stuff to build up tension and stuff like that. But no, most of the stuff in this story really did happen. I should also mention that Robert Graysmith joins Mark Ruffalo, and Robert Downey Jr. is played by Jake Gyllenhaal. Gotta say, I don't see him in a lot of movies, but when I do, it's usually a really good performance. At a local bar, Avery makes fun of Graysmith before they discuss the coded letters. Graysmith interprets the letter, which Avery finds very helpful, and Avery begins sharing his information with him. One of Graysmith's insights about the letters is that the Zodiac's reference to a man as the most dangerous animal of them all is a reference to the short story and movie The Most Dangerous Game, which counts Zaroff as a man who hunts live human prey. Gotta say, The Most Dangerous Game, one of the best stories I've ever written. If you guys haven't, or you're too young to have read it, please go and read it. It's really darn good. 2 weeks later, San Francisco taxicab driver Paul Stine is shot and killed in the city's Presidio Heights district. The Zodiac Killer mails pieces of Stine's blood-stained shirt to the Chronicle along with a taunting letter, proving to them that he was the one that did it. San Francisco police inspectors Dave Tosche, I believe I butchered that name, I'm so sorry, and his partner Bill Armstrong are assigned to the case to Captain Marty Lee and work closely with Vallejo's Jack Mulanax and Captain Ken Narlo, I believe that's what it says, Captain Ken Narlo in Napa. Someone claiming to be Zodiac continues to send taunting letters and speaks on the phone with lawyer Melvin Belli on a telephone talk show on television hosted by the actual Jim Dunbar, which actually did happen because Jim Dunbar was an actual talk show host from that time period. Actually, it was really cool to learn all this stuff. In 1971, 2 years after the first killing, detectives Toshi, Armstrong, and Mulan X question Arthur Lee Allen, a suspect in the Vallejo case. He's actually played by one of the coolest minor character actors in the industry, John Carroll Lynch. I mean, if you guys remember his work on TV and other movies, he's a rather bald gentleman, but he's rather soft-spoken. He's really good at what he does. They notice that he wears a Zodiac wristwatch with the same logo used by the killer. However, a handwriting expert insists that Allen did not write the letters, even though Allen is said to be ambidextrous, which means he could write with both hands. Avery receives a letter threatening his life. Becoming extremely paranoid, he starts to turn to drugs and alcohol. So basically, he's putting on his pre-Tony Stark performance here, minus the drugs and maybe the alcohol. He shares information with the Riverside Police Department, angering Toshi and Armstrong. The case's notoriety weighs on Toshi, who is unable to sit through a holiday film, Dirty Harry, loosely based on the Zodiac case. It's actually kind of cool. I actually did not know that Dirty Harry was based on the Zodiac murders, which is actually kind of cool that because I haven't seen many Clint Eastwood movies. Who knows, maybe one day I'll actually do Dirty Harry on this show, and then you guys can hear all about it. In 1978, nearly a decade after the first murder, Avery moves to the Sacramento Bee. Graysmith persistently contacts Toshi about the Zodiac murders and eventually impresses him with his knowledge of the case, even though his marriage and family life have actually begun to kind of collapse. One of the characters, Jake Gyllenhaal's marriage, is collapsing due to his obsession with the case. Oh my god. And of course, Robert Downey Jr.'s Paul Avery has begun slowly degrading as a person due to his addictions to drug and alcohol and his downtrodden character over the course of the years. Oh boy. While Toshi cannot directly give Graysmith access to the evidence, he provides names in other police departments where Zodiac murders occurred. Armstrong transfers from the San Francisco police. Sorry guys, read that wrong. Homicide Division, and Toshi is demoted for supposedly forging a Zodiac letter. Graysmith continues his own investigation, profiled in the Chronicle, and gives a television interview about the book he's writing about the case. He begins receiving phone calls with heavy breathing, but no answer. As his obsession deepens, he loses his job and his wife leaves him, taking their children with him. Graysmith learns that Allen lived close to Farron and probably knew her, and that his birthday matches the one the Zodiac gave when he spoke to one of Belly's maids. While circumstantial evidence seemed to insinuate his guilt, the physical evidence such as fingerprints and writing samples do not implicate him. In December 1983, Graysmith tracks Allen to a Vallejo Ace hardware store where he is employed as a sales clerk. Graysmith stares at him, thinking, "He's him. I know it. I just can't goddamn prove it." 8 years later, in 1991, after Graysmith's book Zodiac becomes a bestseller, one of the very first victims identifies Allen as the killer from a police mugshot. Now, there is an epilogue in the film as it ends, saying that Allen is the closest reciprocant they could find that could have been the Zodiac killer. However, he died of seemingly a health issue before they could arrest him. So, like I said, the tale of the Zodiac killer might never be solved, but Zodiac is a damn fine movie. If you guys like realistic fiction, you'll love this. I mean, it doesn't even feel like a movie. It seems like I'm actually watching this story of the Zodiac killer being caught happen right in front of my eyes. Unfortunately, this film did not make a lot of money at the box office. It was made on a $65 million budget, but only made around $85 million in the box office, at least in the US, possibly more. I must say, David Fincher is a very great director to not only do stuff like Fight Club, but to take stuff seriously like Zodiac. It was just amazing. I mean, this movie used many sound stages, time-lapse sequences. It really took advantage of the premise that it had and used the photography to their benefit. honestly, I would definitely recommend the extended unrated version of this movie. I believe that's practically the only way you can see it, director's cut and all that. I would definitely give it a high A grade. If you are a lover of films, you have to go see this. This film appears on more critics' top 10 lists than almost any film made in the last 20 years. It's actually quite astonishing. The film won multiple awards. Well, actually, now that I think about it, it was nominated for many awards and only really won one award, Best Director in 2007. I gotta say, this movie was definitely one of the best 2.5 hour experiences that I've ever sat through, and I would definitely do it again, all things considered. I really hope that you guys enjoy me talking about movies. I love talking about great stories, both, well, greatly good and greatly bad to anybody who wants to listen, and I hope to see all you guys in more future movie review topics that I happen to do on this channel as the days and weeks go by. Thank you all guys for watching my review of Zodiac. Join me next time for episode 3 of Lucky Talks Motion Pictures. And as always, my friends, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!